The quantum observation chamber hummed with an otherworldly resonance as Dr. Sarah Chen stared through the reinforced viewport. Behind the specialized shielding, a marble-sized sphere of dark matter pulsed with possibilities that defied conventional physics. The secret research facility, buried deep beneath the Martian surface, represented humanity's greatest gamble and perhaps its last chance to prove the galaxy wrong. Time mark: 47 minutes stable containment, she announced, her voice steady despite the excitement building in her chest. The quantum field is holding at 10 to the negative 13th. Dr. James Rodriguez, her longtime colleague and the facility's lead theoretical physicist, looked up from his holographic displays. The Heisenberg readings are impossible. Sarah, we're seeing quantum entanglement at a macroscopic scale. In the 3 centuries since humanity had joined the galactic community, they'd faced constant reminders of their limitations. The Galactic Council, dominated by ancient species like the crystalline Vex and the gaseous ethereals, had long ago declared faster-than-light travel an impossibility. Their proof was elegant, mathematical, and according to every known law of physics, absolutely correct. But humans had never been good at accepting limitations. Send the latest data to engineering, Sarah instructed, her dark eyes never leaving the containment sphere. Dr. Patil needs to see these readings for the drive core calculations. The facility, known only as Project Prometheus to the handful of people cleared to know of its existence, represented the combined efforts of Earth's finest minds. While humanity's official research focused on improving conventional drive systems, this team pursued what the rest of the galaxy considered impossible. In her office later that night, Sarah reviewed the centuries of failed attempts by other species. The Vex had tried to bend space itself, only to watch their ships shatter under the cosmic forces they'd unleashed. The Ethereals had attempted to phase their vessels through subspace, resulting in catastrophic losses. Even the biomechanical Synax, with their organic technology, had never managed to push a ship past the light barrier. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. Dr. Chen, the facility's AI announced, "We're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council." Sarah's stomach tightened. Put it through. The holographic form of High Counselor 6 materialized, its crystalline structure catching the office's light. "Dr. Chen," it began, its tone carrying the weight of 12,000 years of civilization. "Our monitoring stations have detected unusual quantum fluctuations in your solar system. The Council requires an explanation." Sarah had rehearsed this moment countless times. "Merely a continuation of our approved research into quantum communications, Counselor. The unusual readings are likely due to a calibration test of our new arrays." The crystalline being's facets shifted, a sign of skepticism in Vex body language. "The Council remembers humanity's previous inquiries regarding faster-than-light theory. We trust you understand the futility and danger of pursuing such violations of universal law." "Of course, Counselor," Sarah replied smoothly. "We've accepted the Council's wisdom on this matter." After the transmission ended, Sarah sat in silence for a long moment. Then she opened a secure channel to the facility's command center. "Dr. Rodriguez, prepare the team for Protocol Omega. It's time we showed the galaxy what impossible really means." In the depths of engineering, Dr. Aisha Patel was already adapting their containment field designs to the prototype drive core. The experimental ship, officially designated as a deep space research vessel, waited in a hidden dock, its sleek form representing humanity's greatest technological achievement. As Sarah walked through the facility's corridors, she passed dozens of engineers and scientists, each carrying the weight of humanity's dreams on their shoulders. They'd named their ship the Icarus, not because they feared flying too close to the sun, but because humanity had always dreamed of soaring higher than anyone thought possible. The next morning, as Sarah stood before the assembled team, she felt the magnitude of what they were attempting. "Tomorrow," she announced, "we begin final preparation for the test flight. The Council believes they've defined the boundaries of what's possible. They'd forgotten that humanity's greatest achievements have always started with three simple words: it can't be done. In the silence that followed, she could feel the mix of fear and determination in the room. They all knew the risks. If they failed, it wouldn't just be their lives at stake. It would vindicate every species that had ever looked down on humanity as young, reckless upstarts. But if they succeeded, Sarah turned to look through the viewport at the Icarus, its quantum drive core pulsing with the same impossible energy they'd contained in the test chamber. "The universe," she said softly, "is about to learn what happens when you tell humans something is impossible." Throughout the night, final preparations continued. The quantum core was stabilized, the navigation systems triple-checked, and the emergency protocols reviewed. In her quarters, Sarah recorded one final log entry. "They say the speed of light is the universe's speed limit. Tomorrow, we're going to run that red light." The Icarus's bridge hummed with nervous energy as the pre-launch diagnostics scrolled across holographic displays. Dr. Sarah Chen watched her crew take their positions, each selected not just for their expertise, but for their willingness to bet their lives on humanity's boldest gambit. "Quantum core stable at 98%, reported Dr. Rodriguez from his station, dark circles under his eyes betraying countless sleepless nights. "Field containment is holding." Captain Maya Santos, a veteran of deep space missions and the only military personnel cleared for the project, settled into the command chair. Her presence had been a condition of Earth's government. If they were going to attempt the impossible, they wanted someone with combat experience at the helm. "All systems are green," Maya announced, her fingers dancing across the control interface. "Dr. Chen, we're ready for quantum initialization." Sarah nodded, trying to quiet the voice in her head that whispered all the ways this could go catastrophically wrong. The quantum drive was based on principles that challenged everything known about physics. They weren't just pushing the envelope. They were tearing it apart and rewriting the laws of the universe. "Begin primary sequence," she ordered. The ship's quantum core began to pulse faster, its rhythm matching the mathematical sequence they'd discovered in their breakthrough moment 3 months ago. It had come during a failed test, when they'd noticed something extraordinary. Particles weren't just becoming entangled, they were creating microscopic tunnels through space-time itself. Warning klaxons suddenly blared through the bridge. "Quantum fluctuation detected," Dr. Patel's voice crackled over the comm. "The core is generating unexpected harmonics." Sarah rushed to the engineering station, her heart pounding. The readings showed massive energy spikes throughout the quantum field. This was exactly what had destroyed previous alien attempts at FTL. The fundamental forces of the universe pushing back against anything that tried to break its speed limit. "Council vessels detected entering the system," Lieutenant Park announced from Tactical. "They're on an intercept course." Sarah's mind raced. The Council must have been monitoring them more closely than they'd thought. If they shut down now, humanity's dreams of reaching the stars would die here, buried under the red sands of Mars. "Dr. Chen," Maya's voice was steady, "we need a decision." In that moment, Sarah remembered something her grandmother, also a physicist, had told her. The universe doesn't give up its secrets to the timid. It reveals them to those brave enough to ask the right questions, and stubborn enough to keep asking. "Redirect power from the safety buffers to the quantum stabilizers," she ordered, causing several crew members to look at her in shock. "The harmonics aren't a malfunction. They're showing us the way." "That's insane," Rodriguez protested. "The buffers are there to prevent a cascade failure." "The buffers are there because we're thinking like conventional physicists," Sarah countered. "We need to think like humans." Maya pushed the core to 110%. Captain Santos' fingers hesitated for just a moment over the controls. Then, with a slight smile, she nodded. "Going to 110. May whatever gods are out there help us." The ship's vibrations intensified as power surged through its systems. Warning messages flooded every screen, but Sarah's attention was fixed on one particular reading. The quantum harmonics were aligning into a pattern she'd never seen before. Council ships launching long-range interceptors, Park reported. 6 minutes until they're in weapons range. The bridge crew worked frantically, pushing systems far beyond their designed limits. Sarah watched as the quantum field readings began to shift, forming what looked almost like a tunnel through the fabric of space itself. Core at maximum, Rodriguez shouted. Field stability at critical levels. Sarah took a deep breath. Maya, take us in. The Icarus surged forward, its conventional engines pushing it toward the quantum anomaly they'd created. On the view screen, space itself seemed to bend and twist, reality warping around them in ways that human eyes were never meant to process. Council ships accelerating, Park announced. 4 minutes to intercept. Core temperature exceeding safety limits. Dr. Patel's voice was tense. The containment field is starting to buckle. They were running out of time. Either their calculations were wrong, and they were about to join the long list of failed FTL attempts, or they were about to change everything. Quantum tunnel forming. Rodriguez's voice cracked with excitement. It's actually working. The ship shuddered violently as it approached the threshold. Warning systems screamed as multiple systems redlined. On the view screen, Sarah watched as space itself seemed to part before them, like curtains being drawn back to reveal. Everything happened at once. The quantum core pulsed with blinding intensity. Reality twisted. Every crew member felt a moment of indescribable sensation, as if their bodies were being stretched across infinite distance while remaining perfectly still. Then, with a flash that momentarily overloaded every sensor on the ship, the Icarus leaped forward. The stars blurred, stretched, and transformed into streaks of light that defied description. They had done it. They were traveling faster than light. Sarah Chen, daughter of Earth and student of the impossible, allowed herself a small smile as she watched humanity's dreams unfold before her. Send a message to the council ships, she instructed. Tell them the universe just got a lot smaller. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council erupted into chaos. Holographic representations of 100 species flickered and flashed as voices raised in anger, fear, and disbelief. High Counselor Zix's crystalline form pulsed with agitation as the recordings played again. Impossible sensor readings showing the human vessel Icarus vanishing into what could only be described as a self-generated quantum tunnel. This is an outrage. The ethereal representative's gaseous form swirled violently. They were explicitly warned about pursuing FTL research. The humans have violated council law. What laws? The unexpected voice came from Ambassador Helena Martinez, humanity's representative to the council. She stood calmly in the center of the storm, her holographic form radiating quiet confidence. Show me the law that says we can't achieve what you deemed impossible. Meanwhile, billions of kilometers away, the Icarus emerged from its quantum tunnel near Proxima Centauri. The bridge crew sat in stunned silence, staring at sensor readings that confirmed what their eyes could hardly believe. They had crossed over 4 light-years in just under 7 minutes. Status report, Captain Santos ordered, her voice steady despite the historic moment. All systems operational, Dr. Patel responded from engineering, wonder evident in her voice. The quantum core it's actually running more efficiently than during the initial jump. It's like it's learning, adapting to the space-time distortions we created. Sarah Chen studied the readings, her mind racing with implications. They hadn't just achieved FTL travel. They'd discovered something fundamental about the nature of space-time itself. The quantum harmonics they detected weren't a problem to be solved. They were the universe showing them how it wanted to be navigated. We're receiving multiple transmissions, Lieutenant Park announced. Every major species in the galaxy is trying to contact us. And there's something else. We're picking up signals from civilizations we've never detected before. Far ones. The quantum tunnel seems to have enhanced our sensor capability somehow. The quantum tunnel had done more than break the light barrier. It had torn down walls they hadn't even known existed. Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized the true magnitude of what they'd accomplished. Back in the council chamber, the debate had turned heated. The Synapse representative, their biomechanical form writhing with agitation, addressed the assembly. The humans must be contained. Their reckless advancement threatens the stability of galactic society. We propose immediate sanctions. Sanctions. Helena's laugh cut through the chamber. For what? For proving that your limitations aren't universal laws. For showing that the impossible is only impossible until someone does it. High Counselor Zix raised a crystalline appendage for silence. The Council's position on FTL travel was not arbitrary, Ambassador. The energies involved, the risks to space-time itself, were calculated, tested, and overcome. Helena interrupted. While you were telling us what we couldn't do, we were figuring out how to do it. That's what humans do. We don't accept limitations. We challenge them. On the Icarus, Sarah was making a discovery that would shake the galaxy even further. As she analyzed the sensor data from their jump, she noticed something extraordinary. The quantum tunnel hadn't just been space. It had revealed layers of reality that existing theories couldn't explain. Dr. Rodriguez, she called out, look at these quantum signature patterns. They're not random. They're like road signs. Rodriguez studied the data, his eyes widening. It's as if the universe has natural FTL corridors. We didn't break the laws of physics. We found the loopholes that were always there, waiting to be discovered. As this revelation sank in, the ship's sensors detected something new. Strange energy signatures, unlike anything in their database, began appearing at the edge of their enhanced sensor range. Multiple contacts, Park reported, excitement creeping into his professional tone. They're coming from the direction of what we thought was empty space. Something's out there, hidden behind whatever barrier our quantum tunnel just let us see through. Captain Santos straightened in her chair. Are they ships? Bigger, Park replied. Much bigger. They look like stations, cities. Our sensors are having trouble categorizing them, but they're definitely artificial structures, and they're old, incredibly old. Sarah felt her pulse quicken. They hadn't just created a faster way to travel. They'd found a key to unlock secrets the galaxy had been keeping. Somewhere in the Council chamber archives, there were probably records of these structures, classified and forgotten, because they couldn't be reached at sublight speeds. Send a message to Earth, she ordered. Tell them we're not just rewriting the rules of physics. We're rewriting history. The galaxy isn't what anyone thought it was, and humanity just opened the door to finding out what's really out there. As her words were transmitted across space, Sarah watched the mysterious signals on the sensor display. Humanity had taken its first step into a much larger universe, and she had a feeling they were about to discover that faster-than-light travel was just the beginning of what was possible. The real question was the galaxy ready for humanity to show them what else they could do? The massive structure loomed before the Icarus, its geometrically perfect surfaces defying the erosion of countless millennia. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the bridge viewport, trying to process the scale of what they were seeing. The station, if that's what it was, stretched nearly 40 kilometers from end to end, its dark material absorbing light in ways that shouldn't be possible. Carbon dating from the surface samples is off the charts, Dr. Rodriguez reported, his voice hushed with awe. We're looking at technology that's at least 3 million years old. That's before any known civilization in the Council records. The discovery of the ancient station had sent shockwaves through both human and alien societies. In the 2 weeks since their first FTL jump, the Icarus had mapped dozens of similar structures, all hidden in what they now called quantum shadows, regions of space that were invisible to conventional sensors. Energy readings are stable, Lieutenant Park announced from his station. Whatever's powering this thing, it's still running after all this time. Captain Santos studied the tactical display with professional caution. Dr. Chen, your team is cleared for the first expedition. But remember, we're not just making history here. We're poking at something that the rest of the galaxy never even knew existed. As Sarah prepared for the expedition, she couldn't help but wonder about the implications. The quantum tunnels they'd created hadn't just broken the light barrier. They'd revealed an entire hidden layer of the galaxy. Someone, long ago, had mastered technologies that made their FTL breakthrough look like a child's first steps. The expedition team assembled in the Icarus's launch bay. Dr. Patel had modified their environmental suits with quantum-sensitive sensors, another innovation born from their FTL research. The suits should protect us from any temporal anomalies, she explained, though her voice carried a hint of uncertainty. Just try not to touch anything that looks like it might bend reality. As their shuttle approached the ancient station, Sarah noticed something odd about its surface patterns. "These aren't just decorative," she muttered, scanning the geometric lines that crisscrossed the station's hull. "They're mathematical expressions. The entire structure is like a giant equation written in space-time." Back on Earth, Ambassador Martinez was facing another kind of challenge. The Galactic Council had moved from shock to demanding immediate access to the ancient structures. Their latest session had stretched for hours as species after species claimed historical rights to investigate the discovery. With all due respect, Helena addressed the council, her holographic form standing firm. "Humanity found these structures precisely because we didn't accept your limitations. We will share our discoveries, but we will not be pushed aside." The Vex representative's crystalline form vibrated with barely contained emotion. These artifacts could predate all known civilization. The potential knowledge they contain is exactly why we need to approach this carefully, Helena countered. Our FTL breakthrough wasn't just about speed. It was about seeing what everyone else had missed. Maybe it's time for some fresh perspectives on the galaxy's mysteries. Inside the ancient station, Sarah's team made their way through corridors that seemed to bend in impossible ways. Their suit sensors detected temporal distortions that should have torn the structure apart, yet everything remained perfectly stable. "Look at this," Dr. Rodriguez called out, his light illuminating what appeared to be a control interface. The surface rippled like liquid metal, responding to their presence. "It's still active. After 3 million years, it's still." He never finished the sentence. The interface suddenly blazed with light, and holographic symbols filled the chamber. But these weren't just records or data. They were instructions. Sarah watched in amazement as mathematical formulas and engineering schematics danced through the air, showing technologies that made their quantum drive look primitive. "They left this for someone to find," she whispered, understanding dawning. They knew that eventually, a species would develop the right kind of FTL technology, one based on quantum tunneling. And when that happened, we'd be ready for the next step. Rodriguez finished, his voice filled with wonder. Sarah's hand trembled as she activated her comm link to the Icarus. "Captain, you need to see this. I don't think we just found ancient ruins. I think we found a teaching tool, left by whoever built these stations to guide the species that would eventually figure out how to find them." As if in response to her words, more systems throughout the station hummed to life. Displays activated, showing star maps overlaid with quantum corridors that crisscrossed the galaxy. But more importantly, they showed something else. Thousands more structures, hidden in quantum shadows, each containing more knowledge and technology left by this ancient race. They weren't just advanced, Sarah realized. They were teachers. They built all of this to wait for students who were ready to learn. Species that would figure out the right questions to ask about the universe. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just broken the light barrier. They'd proven themselves worthy of an inheritance left by beings who had mastered the fundamental forces of reality itself. Every limitation they'd ever accepted was about to be challenged, every impossible about to be questioned anew. 6 months after the Icarus's historic flight, Earth had changed. Quantum tunnels flickered in and out of existence as ships departed for the stars, each carrying teams of scientists and explorers eager to unlock more of the ancients' legacy. The night sky itself looked different now, transformed by humanity's ability to see into the quantum shadows that had hidden so much of the universe's truth. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed Quantum Academy's main auditorium, facing an audience that included not just humans, but representatives from every major species in the galaxy. The Vex, Ethereals, and even the pragmatic Synax had finally accepted humanity's invitation to learn together. The ancients didn't just leave us technology, she explained, gesturing to the holographic display, showing the network of stations they'd discovered. They left us a roadmap to understanding the universe itself. Every quantum principle we've uncovered has led to 10 more discoveries, each more profound than the last. In orbit above Earth, the first of humanity's new hybrid ships prepared for its maiden voyage. The vessel incorporated both human quantum drive technology and engineering principles learned from the ancient stations. Captain Santos had been given command of this new class of ship, named the Prometheus, a fitting tribute to humanity's journey from forbidden knowledge to universal enlightenment. What we've learned goes beyond faster-than-light travel, Sarah continued, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had seen the impossible become routine. The quantum shadows weren't just hiding places, they were doorways to understanding how reality itself functions. The ancients didn't break the laws of physics, they simply understood them completely. In the diplomatic quarter of the Galactic Council's capital, Ambassador Martinez sat in her office, reviewing the latest agreements. The political landscape had shifted dramatically since their discoveries. The Council had been forced to recognize that their centuries of established doctrine had become outdated overnight. The quantum tunnels have revealed 16 previously unknown species, her aide reported, all of them trapped in isolated pockets of space-time, hidden from conventional sensors. First contact protocols are already underway. Helena nodded, remembering the shock when they'd realized that the galaxy was far more populated than anyone had imagined. Some civilizations had been developing for millennia in regions of space that appeared empty to everyone else, hidden by the same quantum phenomena that had concealed the ancient stations. Back in the Academy auditorium, Sarah reached the heart of her presentation. But the most important discovery wasn't the technology, or even the hidden regions of space. It was understanding why the ancients left all of this for us to find. She activated a final hologram, showing a message they'd decoded from one of the stations. The mathematical symbols transformed into words that had waited millions of years to be read. To those who have found their way here, welcome. You have proven yourselves ready for the next step in cosmic evolution. Your ability to see beyond accepted limitations, to question the very nature of reality, has brought you to this threshold. We left these stations not as monuments to our achievements, but as seeds for yours. The universe is not a set of unchangeable laws. It is a conversation, waiting for new voices to join in. You are now part of that conversation. Use this knowledge wisely. Teach others what you learn. And remember that every impossible is just another problem waiting for the right minds to solve it. The implications of this message had transformed humanity's view of their role in the galaxy. They hadn't just discovered new technology. They'd inherited a responsibility to help guide other species toward the same discoveries. Dr. Rodriguez, now heading the Academy's Theoretical Physics Department, often said that humanity's greatest achievement wasn't building the quantum drive. It was proving that progress came not from accepting limitations, but from questioning why those limitations existed in the first place. As Sarah concluded her presentation, she looked out at the diverse audience, humans and aliens together, all eager to learn and explore. The ancients knew something that humanity had always instinctively understood. The universe doesn't reveal its secrets to those who simply accept what they're told. It opens up to those who dare to challenge every impossible, who look at barriers and see opportunities. In the space around Earth, another quantum tunnel bloomed into existence as the Prometheus prepared for its first journey. Its mission was no longer just exploration. It was education. Each new discovery would be shared. Each breakthrough would lift all species forward together. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where the boundaries between possible and impossible grew thinner every day. And at the heart of this revolution was a simple truth that humanity had proven. The universe's greatest mysteries don't yield to those who accept limitations, but to those who dare to prove them wrong. As Sarah watched the Prometheus disappear into its quantum tunnel, she smiled, knowing that somewhere out there, other species were looking up at their own skies, seeing quantum tunnels bloom for the first time, and realizing that the universe was far bigger, stranger, and more wonderful than anyone had imagined. The impossible hadn't just become possible, it had become a starting point for whatever humanity would discover next.